There are places on Earth where the boundary between land and sea creates something truly extraordinary. Places where the water appears almost transparent, where the sand is so white that it seems to glow beneath the sun, where tropical forests meet quiet lagoons, enormous cliffs rise above the shoreline, and the only sounds are waves, wind, and distant birds. For many travelers, the perfect beach represents freedom. It is a place to slow down, step away from crowded cities, and reconnect with nature. But what makes one beach more beautiful than other? It is the color of the water, the softness of the sand, the landscape surrounding it, or is true beautiful found in something less obvious, the feeling of arriving somewhere peaceful, remote, and almost untouched. Some beaches are surrounded by luxury resorts and busy towns. Others can only be reached by boat. Some disappear beneath the ocean when the tide rises. Others are protected by national parks, isolated cliffs, or dense tropical forests. In this video, we will travel across five continents and several of the world's most beautiful island regions. We will visit the Caribbean, the Indian Ocean, Southeast Asia, the South Pacific, the Mediterranean, and the remote southern coast of Australia. Each destination offers a different version of paradise. Some are ideal for swimming and snorkeling, some are perfect for long walks, others are places where the journey is almost as memorable as the beach itself. This countdown is based on the 2026 ranking by the world's 50 best beaches. The selection considers more than appearance alone. It also looks at the natural environment, the quality of the water, the atmosphere, crowd levels, wildlife, and how well each beach has preserved its character. Of course, beauty will always remain personal. A surfer may dream of powerful waves, while a family may prefer shallow, calm water. Some travelers want restaurants and comfortable facilities nearby. Others would gladly travel for hours to find an empty shoreline with no buildings at all. So, as we explore these 10 incredible destinations, ask yourself one question: which beach would you choose? We begin our journey in Thailand, on a protected island where enormous granite rocks rise beside clear tropical water. Number 10. Donald Duck Bay, Thailand. At number 10 is Donald Duck Bay in Thailand. Located within the Similan Islands National Park, this beach is very different from the busy resort beaches often associated with Thailand. There are no crowded streets behind the sand, no lights of large hotels, no constant traffic. Instead, visitors arrive by boat and find a shoreline surrounded by forests, turquoise water, and enormous rounded granite formations. The unusual rocks are one of the first things people notice. They rise above the beach in shapes that appear almost carefully placed, even though they were formed naturally over an enormous period of time. One of these formations gives the bay its unusual name because its shape has been compared to the head of a cartoon duck. From the beach, the rocks create a dramatic contrast with the soft white sand and the calm blue water. From higher viewpoints, visitors can look down across the entire bay and see boats floating in the distance. The water is generally clear enough to reveal the sandy bottom. When conditions are calm, the bay provides a comfortable place for swimming and snorkeling. Small fish may be visible near the rocks, while the protected marine environment contributes to the feeling that there is more than an ordinary tourist beach. The experience begins before visitors even reach the shore. Boats travel across open water toward the Similan Islands, revealing small green islands surrounded by different shades of blue. As the beach becomes visible, the water changes from deep ocean blue to bright turquoise. The white sand appears between trees and rocks, creating a scene that feels almost unreal from a distance. Donald Duck Bike remains in relatively good natural condition, partly because access is controlled. The national park is generally open only during a limited season, while monsoon closures give the environment time away from tourism. Visitors must therefore plan carefully, and trips may depend on weather and park regulations. These limitations can feel inconvenient, but they are also part of the reason the beach remains special. The natural environment is beautiful, but it also deserves respect. Travelers should avoid leaving waste, disturbing wildlife, or removing anything from the shore. Coral reefs and island ecosystems can be damaged easily, particularly when the large number of visitors arrive during short periods. The British challenge here is accessibility. Most people visit as part of a boat trip, which means their time on beach may be limited. Sea conditions can also affect the journey. Those seeking complete isolation may still encounter other tour groups during popular periods. However, compared with heavily developed destinations, Donald Duck Bay continues to offer a remarkable sense of nature. It is a place where the beach is only one part of the experience. The granite rocks, island landscape, clear water, and protected surroundings all work together. Donald Duck Bay proves that a beach does not need to be enormous to make a powerful impression. Sometimes an unusual landscape and a sense of discovery are enough. But our next destination offers something different. Instead of giant rocks, it presents kilometers of white sand, shallow water, and tropical greenery along the coast of a Cambodia island. Number 9. Koh Rong, Cambodia. At number 9 is Koh Rong in Cambodia. Located off Cambodia's mainland, Koh Rong is known for tropical forests, clear water, and long stretches of pale sand. The island has developed as a travel destination, but parts of its coastline still retain a slower and less heavily constructed atmosphere than many famous Southeast Asia beach regions. What immediately stands out is the sense of space. The shoreline appears to continue far into the distance. In some areas, the beach is wide and open. In others, trees and dense vegetation grow close to the sand, creating shade and more private atmosphere. The water often remains shallow near the shore, making it easy to enter. On a calm day, the surface reflects the sky, while the sea changes between pale blue, turquoise, and deeper shades farther from land. Unlike urban beaches, where visitors hear head traffic and music from nearby buildings, quieter sections of Korong are dominated by natural sound. Waves move gently across the sand, leaves strip in the breeze. Occasionally, a small boat passes in the distance. The simple soundtrack is a part of Iceland's appeal. The journey to Korong usually involves traveling by boat, which creates a clear separation from the mainland. As the ports disappear behind you, the city feels increasingly distant. For some travelers, this transition is important. A beach feels more memorable when reaching it requires leaving everyday routines behind. Some areas are livelier and have accommodation, restaurants, and social activities. Other parts are calmer with fewer buildings and longer empty sections of coastline. This allows visitors to choose between convenience and isolation. Those who prefer comfort can stay near established areas. Those seeking peace can travel farther along the island. Swimming is one of the simplest pleasures here. The sandy bottom and gradual entry make the water approachable in calm conditions. Visitors can spend hours moving between the shade and the sea without needing an organized activity. Some travelers explore the island interior, visit nearby beaches, or join boat trips around the coast. After dark, certain waters around Cambodian islands can sometimes display naturally occurring bioluminescent plankton. Although visibility depends on conditions and should never be guaranteed, the island's natural beauty also brings responsibility. As tourism increases, waste management, construction, and pressure on the coastline become important concerns. A beach can lose its character quickly when developed grows without careful planning. Travelers can help by choosing responsible operators, reducing plastic use, and respecting local communities. Weather is another important factor. The dry season usually provides a better chance of calm and sunny conditions, while the rainy period can bring rougher water and frequent storms. Because roads and services vary across the island, movement may become more difficult during bad weather. Korong is not the right destination for everyone. Travelers expecting the polished services of a major luxury resort may find certain areas simple. Internet access and infrastructure may not always match urban standards. Transportation takes time, and changing weather can interrupt plans. That these limitations are part of what preserves the atmosphere many people come to experience. Korong is beautiful because it still allows visitors to feel that the island is larger than tourism surrounding it. There is a room to walk, breathe, and find a quiet place beside the sea. Our next destination moves from the tropical forests of Cambodia to the dry landscapes of Mexico. There, shallow turquoise water spreads across a protected bay surrounded by desert-covered hills. Number 8. Playa Balandra, Mexico. At number 8 is Playa Balandra near La Paz, Mexico. At first glance, Balandra looks more like a natural lagoon than a traditional ocean beach. The water is extremely shallow across much of the bay. Long curves of pale sand separate turquoise channels, while dry hills rise around the coastline. This combination of desert and sea creates one of the most distinctive landscapes on the list. Balandra is not a single straight shoreline. The bay contains several connected beach areas that change with the tide. Visitors can often walk through the shallow water from one section to another, exploring the coastline without needing a boat. In places, the water may remain only around the knees or waist. This creates the unusual experience of walking far into the bay while still standing on the sandy bottom. The calm conditions make Balandra attractive to families and travelers who prefer gentle water. Rather than powerful waves, visitors often find a smooth surface of gradual entry. Kayaking and paddle boarding are also popular ways to explore the shape of the bay. One of the, one of the area's most recognizable natural features is El Hongo, a rock formation shaped somewhat like a mushroom. Over time, wind and water have worn away the lower portion of the rock, leaving a narrow base supporting a wider top. The formation has become a symbol of the area, but it is also fragile. Visitors should avoid climbing or placing pressure on natural structures that could be damaged. The hills surrounding Balentra provide short hiking routes and viewpoints. From above, the bay's full design becomes visible. Sandbanks create pale patterns beneath the water, while deeper channels appear in stronger shades of blue. The coastline looks almost painted. Unlike tropical beaches filled with palm trees, Valentra has a dry and open landscape. Cacti and desert plants replace dense jungle. The prime Mexican sun reflects across the water, while the hills create a warm contrast with the cool color of the bay. This difference makes Valentra memorable. It reminds us that beach, beautiful beaches do not all allow the same family formula. Valentra's protection is another important part of its story. Visitor numbers and social activities are regulated to reduce pressure on the natural environment. Development is limited, helping the bay remain cleaner and less commercial than many popular coastal areas. These restrictions mean travelers should research access before arriving. Entry may be limited, and arriving late can result in disappointment during busy periods. Facilities are also more limited than at a resort beach. Visitors should bring water, sun protection, and anything essential while avoiding unnecessary waste. The shallow water can become extreme warm beneath strong sunlight. There may also be little natural shade in open areas. For this reason, early morning can provide a more comfortable experience. Balandra is not a beach for travelers seeking large waistline life or luxury hotels directly on the shore. Its attraction is quieter. It offers space, unusual geography, and the freedom to move slowly through clear water. Standing in the middle of the bay, with the desert around you and the sea below your feet, can feel completely different from an ordinary day at the beach. But our next destination return us to a classic tropical setting. We now travel to Maldives, where an extraordinary sandbar extends into a bright blue lagoon. Number 7. Digura, Maldives. At number 7 is Digura in the Maldives. The Maldives is famous for small islands, coral reefs, and lagoons that appear in almost impossible shade of blue. But Tigura offers more than the familiar image of overwater villas. It combines a local island community, a long natural beach, and a sandbar that extends far into shallow water. The name Diura is commonly associated with the island's long shape. From the air, it appears as a narrow strip of green land surrounded by the Indian Ocean. At one end, the island gradually becomes thinner until it reaches a pale ribbon of sand. This sandbar is the main attraction. Visitors can walk toward it along the beach, passing through sections shaded by tropical vegetation. As the village and buildings become more distant, the environment feels increasingly peaceful. Eventually, the land opens into white sand with clear water on both sides. At low tide, more of the sandbar may become visible. At higher tide, parts can disappear beneath shallow water. The exact shape changes constantly, meaning the beach never looks completely the same. The water is often calm enough for relaxed swimming. Near the sandbar, visitors can move between different sides of the island depending on wind and sea conditions. One side may be peaceful while the other experiences small waves. The Maldives is also celebrated for its underwater environment. Reefs around regions support tropical fish, rice, turtles, and many other marine species. The widest South Ari Atoll area is particularly known for opportunities to encounter large marine animals. Although responsible tourists should always maintain safe distances and avoid disturbing wildlife. Diura differs from private resort islands because it contains a local community. This gives visitors an opportunity to experience more of everyday Maldivian life. Guest houses and small hotels provide alternatives to the country's most expensive resort experience. However, travelers should respect local culture, dress expectations, and designated swimming areas. The island atmosphere is slow. Bicycles and walking are practical ways to move around. There is little reason to rush. A morning might begin with a walk beneath palm trees, followed by snorkeling, swimming, and waiting for the sunset at the sandbar. The beauty of Tigura comes from scale and simplicity. It's not only a short section of perfect sand, it is a long approach, the changing tide, the transparent barren lagoon, and the feeling of standing at the narrow end of an island surrounded by ocean. Travel here does require planning. Reaching the island involves a domestic connection, speedboat, or other organized transportation, depending on itinerary. Sea conditions can affect transfers. The tropical climate also includes periods of heavier rain and stronger wind. Plastic waste and climate change are serious concerns across low-lying island environments. Visitors should reduce unnecessary consumption and avoid touching coral or marine animals. Ligura may not offer the complete privacy of an exclusive resort, that it provides something many travelers value even more, a sense of connection to a real island, its community, and its surrounding environment. Our next beach takes us across Atlantic to Anguilla. There, power soft sand and gentle Caribbean water create one of the most inviting swimming beaches in the world. Number 6. Shore by East, Anguilla. The number 6 is Shore by East in Anguilla. The Caribbean contains thousands of beautiful beaches, which makes standing out especially difficult. Yet Shore by East represents almost every element travelers imagine when they hear the words Caribbean paradise. The sand is bright and soft, the water is clean, calm, and intensely blue. Palm trees move in the wind, while relaxed bars sit behind the shoreline. Unlike remote beaches that require difficult hikes or long journeys, Shore by East combines natural beauty with relative comfort. Visitors can find food, drinks, chairs, and other services nearby. At the same time, the beach is long enough for people to move away from the busiest sections to find more space. This balance is one of its strongest qualities. Some beaches are beautiful but difficult for swimming. They may have sharp rocks, strong waves, or sudden depth. Shore by is widely appreciated for its gentle entrance and sandy bottom. On calm days, swimmers can move slowly into the clear water. The gradual entry feels comfortable, while visibility allows people to see the sand below. Nearby reef areas also provide snorkeling opportunities when conditions are suitable. The colors change through the day. In the morning, the water may appear pale and almost silver blue. Under strong midday sunlight, it becomes bright turquoise. Later, as sun moves lower, the surface darkens and reflects warmer colors. The beach atmosphere is relaxed rather than formal. Travelers can spend the day doing very little. They might swim, walk along the shore, eat a simple meal, and return to the water. This lack of pressure is exactly what many people want from a beach vacation. Anguilla itself is known for a quieter style of tourism than some larger Caribbean islands. There are upscale accommodations and restaurants, but the island's smaller scales have preserved a calmer rhythm. Shore by East can still become busier during popular travel periods, especially around convenience access points. However, its length makes it easier to find quieter sections. The greatest challenge is cost. Travel to Caribbean islands can be expensive, and accommodation, transportation, and food may require a substantial budget. Reaching Anguilla may also involve connecting through another island or using ferry, depending on travelers' route. Weather is another important consideration. The Caribbean hurricane season can affect travel, even when a particular island does not receive a direct impact. Visitors should always monitor official forecasts and understand cancellation policies. Shore by East does not rely on dramatic cliffs or unusual rocks. Its beauty is more traditional. It is a nearly ideal combination of sand, water, space, and a relaxed atmosphere. For travelers who believe the best beach is one where swimming feels effortless, this destination may already reserve the number one position. But the countdown continues. At the number 5, we travel to Fiji, where a protective sign of a private island offers calm water and an almost untouched tropical shoreline. Number 5, Mamanuca Beach, Vomo Island, Fiji. At number 5 is Mamanuca Beach on Vomo Island in Fiji. Fiji is a nation made up of hundreds of islands, many surrounded by coral reefs and pride lagoons. The Mamanuca Island group is especially well known for tropical scenery, but this particular beach stands out because of its calm environment and sense of isolation. The shoreline is bordered by palm and dense green vegetation. Soft sand stretches beside clean water, while limited development helps preserve the feeling of being far from the modern world. On the island's sheltered side, the sea can remain comparatively calm. This creates comfortable conditions for swimming and allows the water to reflect the sky without constant breaking waves. One of the most powerful experiences here is arriving early. Before other footprints appear, the beach may look completely untouched. The wide section of white sand lies ahead, with no roads or urban buildings visible. The scene feels less like a public attraction and more like a private discovery. The water near the shore is usually bright and transparent. Further out, the color becomes deeper, revealing the transition towards reefs and open ocean. Fiji's marine environment adds another dimension. Snorkeling and boat activities can reveal coral formations and tropical fish. As always, visitors should avoid standing on coral or chasing animals for photographs. The underwater environment is beautiful precisely because it remains alive and undamaged. The island landscape also encourages slow exploration. Travelers can walk beneath the trees, move between beaches, and view the sea from different sides. Because the island is surrounded by water, sunrise and sunset create different moods depending on location. Mamanuca Beach is associated with private islands access, which creates both advantages and disadvantages. Controlled access helps prevent overcrowding. It also means the beach may feel peaceful even during good weather. However, staying on or visiting a private island is usually expensive. This is not an accessible everyday destination for most travelers. Transportations, accommodation, and organized activity can raise the cost considerably. Weather can also change quickly in the South Pacific. Tropical rain, wind, storms may affect both travel and water activities. Visitors should avoid assuming that every day will provide perfect blue skies simply because the destination looks flawless in photographs. That when the conditions are right, Mamanduka Beach demonstrates why Fiji remains one of the world's most celebrated island destinations. It offers the classic tropical landscape, white sand, palms, and clear water, without losing its quiet natural character. As we enter the top four, the landscapes become even more unusual. Our next destination is not simply a beach beside one island. It's, it is a moving sand bridge that connects two islands off the coast of Madagascar and disappears at the tide rise. Number 4. Nosy Iranja, Madagascar. At number 4 is Nosy Iranja in Madagascar. From the air, Nosy Iranja appears almost impossible. Two green islands sit in the Indian Ocean, connected by a brilliant white sandbar. At low tide, the sand forms a natural bridge between them. As the tide rises, the water gradually covers the path until the islands appear separate once again. The transformation is what makes Nosy in Raja so unique. Visitors are not simply looking at a fixed landscape, they are witnessing the daily movement of the ocean redesigning the shoreline. The sandbar is approximately 2 kilometers long, creating an extraordinary walking route surrounded by water. From the center, the sea extends in every direction. One side may display gentle waves, while the other remains calmer. The white sand reflects the sunlight, and the islands at each end seem far away. The two islands are known as Nosy Iranja Bay and Nosy Iranja Kelly. Vegetation covers much of the land, creating a strong contrast with the exposed sand. Small communities and accommodations exist in the area, but the environment still feels remote compared with major resort destinations. Marine life is another important part of Nosy Iranja. Sea turtles use beaches in this region for nesting. This makes environmental protection especially important. Visitors should never approach nests, disturb turtles, or use bright lights around nesting areas at night. The surrounding sea offers opportunities for swimming and snorkeling. Clear conditions may reveal fish and reef environments beneath the surface. Boat trip around the region can also provide views of other islands and marine landscapes. However, reaching Nosy Iranja requires more effort than visiting a city beach. Travel usually involves flying to Madagascar, continuing toward the island region, and then using boat transportation. The journey can be long, expensive, and affected by sea conditions. Infrastructure may be simpler than travelers expect. Remote destinations do not always have immediate access to advanced medical services, reliable internet, or large stores. Visitors should plan carefully and travel with experienced operators. The changing tide also requires awareness. A sandbar is fully visible at one moment can become covered later. Travelers should listen to local guides rather than assuming they can cross at any time. Nosy Iranja is beautiful not only because of its color. Its beauty is connected to movement. The tide arises and leaves. The sand disappears and returns. Turtles come ashore and return to the ocean. The landscape reminds visitors that beaches are living environments rather than the permanent objects. For those fortunate enough to stand on the sand bridge, the experience can feel like walking directly across the ocean. Our next destination replaces tropical heat with the rugged southern coast of Australia. There, brilliant white sand and clear water meet a remote landscape where dolphins and surfers may share the same waves. Number 3. Watton Beach, Australia. At number 3 is Watton Beach in Western Australia. Australia has enormous coastline and thousands of beaches, yet Watton Beach stands out through its clarity, space, and rock location. Situated in the dock of Orleans Bay area, the beach combines bright white sand with clean turquoise water. The surrounding region feels open and remote, creating a very different atmosphere from Australia's famous urban beaches. The sand is one of the most striking features. Under direct sunlight, it appears almost pure white. Because the shoreline is not surrounded by a dense city, the natural colors dominate the sand. Blue sky, pale sand, green vegetation, and transparent water create a simple but powerful landscape. Rotten Beach is large enough to absorb visitors without immediately feeling crowded. Even on good summer days, people may find long sections with plenty of personal space. The water can be calm and easy to enter near the shore, although conditions vary. The sandy bottom creates a comfortable swim experience on peaceful days. At other times, waves make the beach attractive to surfers. This variety gives Morton Beach a broader personality than a completely sheltered lagoon. Dolphins are also sometimes seen in this region. Watching them from the shore can become one of the most memorable parts of a visit. However, wildlife sightings are never guaranteed, and responsible visitors should observe animals without chasing or feeding them. The remote setting contributes strongly to the beach beauty. There are fewer large buildings competing with the horizon. At night, distance from major cities can provide darker skies and a stronger sense of isolation. But remoteness also creates practical challenges. Visitors may need to travel considerable distances by road. Services can be limited, so carrying water, food, sun protection, and emergency supplies is important. Mobile reception may not always be reliable. Ocean conditions also deserve respect. Australian beaches can experience strong currents and rapidly changing weather. Travelers should follow local warnings, swim within their abilities, and avoid entering rough water simply because it looks beautiful from the shore. Western Australia's southern coastline can also be cooler than tropical destinations. The water and air may not provide the warm island experience some visitors expect, yet for many people, this cooler, wider character is exactly what makes Warden Beach appealing. It feels expansive. The coastline is not designed around the visitor. Instead, the visitor must adapt to the landscape. Wharton Beach earned its place near the top because it combines the visual perfection of a tropical beach with the open, rock feeling of Australia's southern coast. It offers white sand, turquoise water without appearing overly polished or artificial. But the final two destinations become even more dramatic. At number two, we travel to hit a hidden cove on the Greek island of Kefalonia, where white cliffs surround the blue water of the Ionian Sea. Number two, Terry Beach, Greece. At number two is Terry Beach on the island of Kefalonia, Greece. Terry is not the kind of beach people accidentally discover while walking through a town. It is hidden within a secluded cove and surrounded by high white limestone cliffs. Reaching it usually requires a boat journey or a challenging hike. That isolation is one of the main reasons the beach had preserved such a powerful natural atmosphere. As visitors approach from the sea, the cliffs appear first. They form a curve around the cove, reflecting sunlight onto the water. Below them lies a shoreline made from pale pebbles and sand. The contrast between wild landscape and the deep turquoise Ionian Sea creates a scene that is unmistakably Mediterranean. The water around Terry is exceptionally clear in calm weather. From above, boats can appear to float in the air because the seabed remains visible beneath them. Near the shore, the color becomes lighter. Farther out, it deepens into rich blue. The pebbles beneath the water contribute to this clarity by reducing the amount of blue sand moving through the sea. The beach itself has little development. There are no rows of large hotels directly behind it. No busy road follows the coastline. The cliffs and difficult access create a natural barrier. For travelers arriving early, the experience can feel almost private. The primary sounds are the water moving across the stones, distant boats engines, and wind passing along the cliffs. This quiet atmosphere is one of Terry's greatest strengths. Swimming here can be extraordinary, but visitors should remain aware that the beach is remote. There may be limited shade, facilities are minimal or absent. Anything needed for the day should be brought in and taken anyway again. Those arriving by boat must monitor weather and sea conditions. A peaceful cove can become less comfortable when wind increases. Those choosing to hike should understand the difficulty of the route and avoid attempting it without preparation. Summer heat can make steep trails dangerous. Proper footwear, sufficient water, and realistic assessment of physical ability are essential. Terry can also attract more visitors during July and August. Boat traffic may reduce the feeling of isolation in the middle of the day. During early or outside the busiest summer period can offer a calmer experience, although conditions vary. Kefalonia itself is known for mountainous landscapes, villages, and dramatic coastlines. Terry represents the island at its most natural. It's not most beautiful because someone designed it for tourism. It is beautiful because geology, water, and isolation created a place that is difficult to reach and even harder to forget. Standing beneath the limestone walls, visitors become aware of how small they are compared with the landscape. That sense of scale separates Terry from an ordinary swimming beach. It feels more like a natural cathedral beside the sea. That one destination ranks higher. Our number one beach combines towering limestone cliffs, soft white sand, calm transparent water, and the remote island landscape of Palawan in the Philippines. It can only be reached by boat, and that limited has helped preserve its peaceful character. The most beautiful beach in the world in 2026 is Antalula Beach. Number 1. Antalula Beach, Philippines. At number 1 is Antalula Beach in Palawan, the Philippines. Palawan is famous for dramatic limestone islands, hidden lagoons, and clear tropical water. Within this extraordinary region, Antalula Beach stands out because it brings several forms of natural beauty together in one compact landscape. A wall of limestone rises behind the beach, soft white sand curls along the island, palm trees provide shade. In front, the water remains clear, calm, and bright. The first impression is contrast. The cliffs appear powerful and sharp, the sand is soft and smooth, the forest is dense and green, the sea is transparent and peaceful. Each element would be beautiful alone. Together, they create one of the most visually balanced beaches on Earth. And Tallulah can only be reached by boats. This means every every visit begins with a journey through the islands around Anido. Both pass through channels between limestone formations, revealing small covers and beaches along the way. As Antalula comes into view, the sand appears beneath the cliffs like a prying opening in the landscape. Stepping from the boat into shallow water creates an immediately feeling of arrival. There are no cars, city streets, or large crowds moving behind the beach. The island itself becomes the entire world for a short time. The water is one of Antalula's greatest attractions. In calm conditions, it's easy to swim. The sandy entry allows visitors to move gradually away from the shore. From surface, the cliffs and palm trees reflect across the water. Beneath the surface, clear visibility reveals the changing depth. The beach also feels quieter than several better-known locations in the surrounding region, because access depends on boats and organized island routes. Numbers may remain more controlled. However, the atmosphere can still vary depending on the time of day and tour schedules. Arriving early can make a significant difference. Morning light softens the cliffs and creates long shadows across the sand. The temperature may feel more comfortable, and the beach may can be almost silent. Later, strong sunlight intensifies the blue of the water and the white of the sand. Atalula limestone landscape connects it to the wider geology of Palawan. Over time, water and weather shape these rock formations into cliffs, towers, and hidden basins. The result is a coastline filled with natural walls and protected coasts. The same geography that makes the beach beautiful also makes it fragile. Small islands have limited capacity for waste and human impact. Plastic, food packaging, and careless anchoring can damage the environment quickly. Visitors should follow local regulations, avoiding touching coral, and take all waste away. Responsible tourism is essential if Antalula is to remain extraordinary. Weather also affects the experience. The Philippines had a tropical climate with distinct weather periods, and storms or typhoons can interrupt boat travel. Visitors should never ignore local safety advice. A sunny photograph cannot represent conditions throughout the entire year. Antalula does not offer a large town, nightlife, or wide selection of services directly on the beach. That is not its purpose. It offers something much similar: a place to swim beneath cliffs, a place to sit under palm trees, a place where clear water meets quiet sand, separated from the movement of ordinary life. Why does Antalula take the number one position? It is not because it has the longest shorelines. It is not the easiest beach to reach. It does not have the largest number of restaurants or activities. It wins because almost every element of the natural environment supports the experience. The cliffs create drama, the trees create shade, the sand creates softness, the water creates calm. The boat journey creates anticipation. The limited access protects the sense of discovery. Antalula represents the type of beach many people imagine but rarely find. Beautiful without being artificial, remote without feeling empty, dramatic without losing its peaceful atmosphere. It shows that paradise is not always defined by luxury. Sometimes paradise is simply a place where nature has been allowed to remain itself. That is why Antalula Beach is ranked as the most beautiful beach in the world in 2026. Comparing the top 10, these 10 beaches represent very different environments. Tuna Duck Bay combines tropical water with enormous granite rocks and the protection of a national park. Coral offers long, open beaches and a slower island atmosphere. Playa Blanca proves that desert landscape and shallow lagoons can be just as beautiful as palm-covered islands. Tigura is defined by its long sandbar and the marine environment of the Maldives. Shore Bay offers one of the most comfortable and classic Caribbean beach experiences. Mamanuca Beach creates the feeling of a private tropical escape. Nosy Iranja trains the tide, connecting two islands through a disappearing sand bridge. Watton Beach brings white sand and clear water to the rough southern coast of Australia. Terry Beach is surrounded by limestone cliffs and the deep colors of the Ionian Sea. And Tallulah Beach combines clear water, white sand, palms, and dramatic rock formations in one peaceful corner of Palawan. The right beach depends on the traveler. For easy swimming, Shore is and Palantra may be especially attractive. For dramatic landscape, Terry and Tallulah and Donald Duck Bay stand out. For long walks and unusual sandbars, Diura and Nosy Iranja offer unforgettable experiences. For travelers who prefer open space and wider coastline, Watton Beach may be the ideal choice. Those who value a slower Southeast Asian island experience may choose Coron. And visitors seeking private island comfort may dream of Fiji. But beauty is only one part of responsible travel. Remote beaches face increasing pressure from construction, pollution, climate change, and large number of visitors. A destination can become famous because it remains untouched, only to lose that quality when too much people arrive without respecting it. The most beautiful beaches need more than admiration. They need protection. Visitors can help by avoiding single-use plastic, respecting wildlife, staying within authorized areas, and supporting local communities. The goal should not simply to be photograph paradise. It should be to live it as beautiful as it was when they arrived. Conclusion: a beach is one of the simplest landscapes on earth. Land meets water, sand meets waves, sunlight reflects from the surface of the sea. Yet, no two beaches are exactly alike. One may be surrounded by desert, another may sit beneath enormous cliffs, one may disappear at high tide, another may sketch for kilometers through a tropical forest. The beauty of a beach is not measured only by color. It is also found in sound, space, wildlife, movement, and the feeling of the place creates. Perhaps the best beach is not the one that ranks first. Perhaps it is the beach connected you to your own memories. The place where you watch the sunrise, where you learn to swim, where you spend time with family, or where, for a few quiet hours, the rest of the world seems very far away. Now it is your turn. Which of these 10 beaches would you like most to visit? Will you choose the limestone cliffs of Entalula, the hidden cove of Terry, the sandbar of Nochi Iranja, or the calm Caribbean water of Shore Bay East? And is there another beach that deserves a place in this countdown? Share the answer in the comments below. If you enjoyed the journey, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more documentaries about the world's most beautiful countries, islands, cities, and natural destinations. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.